So tonight we got a very eventful episode of Monday Night Raw coming out of the Money in the Bank PLE. I think hands down probably one of the best episodes within the last couple of months, as far as I'm aware. Obviously, I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I'm not really trying to put down, I guess, anybody here, but sometimes the product comes off a little, a little stale, a little almost like they're missing something. And tonight was definitely a good sort of, I guess, band-aid for that, because tonight we got a lot of eventful things occurring here. We got John Cena and CM Punk, their official first confirmation now within this John Cena 2025 heel turn. We got the men and women's King of the Ring qualifier matches. We got Gunther against Jey Uso. We got the return of Nikki Bella, if you're into that sort of stuff. We also got R-Truth, who's no longer R-Truth, who is going by his actual real government name of Ron the Truth Killings. So we're going to get into that. But like I said before, we got to get into John Cena and CM Punk. So I kind of wondered when they were going to pull the trigger as far as John Cena and CM Punk. Tonight, John Cena kicked off the show. He said that, R-Truth, they chanted for R-Truth and we want truth, and that literally did nothing for them. He said that they wanted John Cena to be with this, like, with the mid-carder, with a gimmick. He called R-Truth a gimmick. He said that, he doesn't matter. He essentially put down R-Truth. He said that he needs actual legitimate competition, because everybody that has been placed in front of his path, like Cody, like Randy, hasn't been legitimate competition. And out comes CM Punk. You hear the static sound of CM Punk's entrance music, and I shit you not, the second I heard that, I got so fucking giddy. My heart was racing back and forth. I said, finally we get CM Punk and John Cena. Now, to me, it's a little strange, obviously, because Punk, he still has this issue with Seth, so I don't know whether or not we're going to see Seth potentially, play a factor into this match going forward. But regardless, CM Punk came out here and cut a fucking great promo on John Cena. He mentioned that for many years John Cena was the Boy Scout, who now it's kind of random to see the Boy Scout trying to tear down the establishment, when CM Punk is a proven, time-tested rebel who's he said he's not trying to save TKO. He's not trying to save these wealthy billionaires. He's trying to save the fans. He's trying to help the fans, because he mentioned that championship is something that belongs to the fans. He said that he's seen John Cena become this, monster now with that championship, and he said that for many years he didn't want to chase that championship, but now he sees that he has to become a monster in order to stop this version of John Cena. He mentioned a couple comments about The Rock. He even mentioned the Elimination Chamber, the final moments of the Elimination Chamber match, which I thought was a very nice touch, because a lot of people seem to forget that when John Cena had CM Punk in the STF and took advantage of the Seth Rollins curb stomp, John Cena, you can clearly hear it if you go back and watch it, mouthed the words "I'm sorry" to CM Punk. And CM Punk mentioned that here. He said that that was his last sort of shred of decency before he did what he did, and he called him out on it. He called him a bitch about it. And he told Cena to put the championship on the line for whichever day he wanted to, whichever of the last remaining dates that Cena wanted to. He mentioned that they should do it here tonight in Arizona. Cena said, sure, that sounds fine. But he said, we're going to do it not here. We're going to do it at Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. And obviously, if you know anything about CM Punk, he's not super keen on Saudi Arabia. One thing I will mention is the fact that I am a little kind of, biased. I wanted it to take place at a SummerSlam, bigger marquee, bigger event SummerSlam that it is. I don't mind it taking place at Night of Champions. I just kind of wished, selfishly for us over here, I kind of wished it would have taken place at a SummerSlam. But definitely we got the announcement of the match taking place at Night of Champions within, I guess, 3 or 4 weeks. I'm just super happy that we get this match. Obviously we were going to get this match, But I'm obviously happy that we're going to get these promos eventually cut between Punk and Cena. And now I have mentioned before, and I have thought this before, that this match with Punk and Cena is going to be what defines this Cena heel turn. And obviously, Cena mentioning Saudi Arabia to CM Punk was probably the biggest heel thing that he's done within months. You know what I mean? So it's like, out of this entire Cena heel run, this is probably going to be as bright as it gets for Cena. And obviously, I don't see Punk winning against Cena. I don't see Seth cashing in, although he very well could. I don't see that happening. I do see Cody winning the King of the Ring tournament. We got some qualifying matches for that. Roxanne Perez got the win over Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and Kairi Sane. I figured she was probably the best choice because, you know, obviously she's a newer talent, newer face on the roster. You could use that sort of exposure for somebody like her. We also got a great fatal four-way match for the men's side of things. We got Sami Zayn, Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio, and Penta. Sami Zayn got the win here after an assist from LA Knight. So I gotta, you know, ask the question, is LA Knight now moving over to Raw? Because he obviously gave the assist to Sammy and took out Braun Breaker. So is that confirmation that we're going to see LA Knight on Raw moving forward? Because I figured him moving over to Raw is the best thing that could happen to him, because over on SmackDown he's going to drown a slow, painful death over on SmackDown. Somebody of his status could really use a switch over to Raw. And I mentioned before, Nikki Bella made her return here in what was billed as like her hometown. But I will mention one thing. Liv Morgan came out here and confronted her, and I guess they're going to make this match possibly between Liv Morgan and Nikki Bella. But you can tell that the crowd really didn't give two shits about whether or not Nikki Bella was here, because Liv Morgan got a better reaction than Nikki Bella did, and they were claiming Nikki Bella was, you know, such an influence on the entire women's division, which I said, really, that's news to me, because I never would have thought that of Nikki Bella. We also got the return of Bayley. Bayley here returned on Monday Night Raw to take out Becky Lynch. So now the story going forward is, what do we do with Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Lyra Valkyria? Do we have the Lyra Valkyria Becky Lynch part 3? Do we have Becky Lynch against Bayley at Evolution? You know, what's the case here? Regardless, I think Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch are literally the perfect duo. And R-Truth, Ron the Killing's Truth, R-Truth came out here and he essentially told everybody that, you know, the We Want Truth stuff, he's literally here because of them. He said, don't let them, you know, silence your voice. Don't think that you don't have a voice, because you matter. He mentioned how R-Truth is such a loving, forgiving person, almost too forgiving. He said that he's been feeling a little different as of late, and he got a pair of scissors and cut off his hair, cut off his dreads, and now we are led to assume that this is going to be a new truth. Not only R-Truth, but Ron the Killing's Truth. And finally, we move on to the main event, which was Jey Uso defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther, the Ring General. I kind of made a point in my head. I said, Gunther, I haven't seen Gunther really since the Pat McAfee match, and I guess this was his first match since then. The story of the match here really was about Jey Uso, you know, overextending his arm, so to speak, with multiple sort of, you know, him helping Cody, him helping Sammy, him helping Punk, and his ribs were taped up as well, so you could clearly identify, you know, his struggle, I guess you could say. And Gunther obviously took advantage of that. They played up the fact that Gunther, this was the 5th time that these men were in the ring together. And my kind of question going into this match was, what are we going to see in this match? Are we going to see Seth Rollins attempt to cash in? Are we going to see Roman Reigns potentially stop him? Are we going to see Jey Uso retain? Are we going to see Goldberg come out here and challenge Gunther and confront Gunther? But really, at the end of the day, we got, I guess you could say, an underwhelming outcome, because Gunther, to my surprise, actually beat Jey Uso fair and square. He got him in the submission hold and the choke hold and choked him out. And Gunther is the new World Heavyweight Champion. By this point, I'm expecting to see Goldberg appear on our television screen. But then you get the graphics, the closing shot graphics, and that's how the show goes off the air. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I was expecting something major to happen on this show. I think I kind of suckered myself into believing that, to be honest. But regardless, Gunther is the World Heavyweight Champion, and obviously they're gonna set up that Gunther Goldberg match, potentially I think Saturday night's main event in Atlanta. I think that's probably the clear direction. Also, I want to mention the fact that the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, I right now my early guesses are Cody and possibly Jade, but I have to sit down and reevaluate everybody's positioning in that tournament to see what happens there. But overall, a very good episode of Monday Night Raw. Let me know what you guys thought down below of of everything. CM Punk, John Cena, Jey Uso, Gunther, R-Truth, everything that we saw tonight. Let me know what you guys thought down below. And until next time, I will see all of you on the next one.